After World War II, higher education was changing, and the college needed somebody as president who was a proven leader and needed somebody young and energetic and creative. John D. was the right guy to come lead Austin College.
He was one of those very, very active, very proactive presidents. I think he had a congenital need for change, and we had new programs and new developments at the college for most of the time that he was with us as president. And he certainly was very, very active and very successful in finding support for the college and in widening the college's reputation, and I think in widening the geographic range that we had. He was a good president, a strong president.
The college would never have joined in the support of the community series if it hadn't been agreeable to Dr. Moseley to do so. And she would have pushed for it.
Sara Bernice was greatly involved with Bruce Lunkley and Cecil Isaac in the formation of the community series. I think she served on the board several times about that, was committed that way.
She was right there. If you went to a community series program, you would expect to see her. Anything cultural in Sherman, you would expect to see her. And not only see her, but she just had a way about her that you would immediately recognize that well, she knows what this is all about. She has something to do with this. She's involved in it.
John D. was not able to be committed in the same way, but I think his understanding of the value of community series and the way in which it facilitated a kind of town-gown relationship, so his involvement there was administrative. And I think there are many things like that. I don't know stories where the two of them together were part of the same enterprises at the same time, but between them, they both understood their roles and were highly involved in various elements and activities in the Sherman community.
Sounds like they were a terrific power couple.
Absolutely. And part of it is because they never worked to manipulate or exploit that. They just were. I mean, both of them, individually and together, they were fascinating, committed, interesting, smart, energetic people.
The Moseleys also were very important in the Presbyterian Church.
Sara Bernice in 1978 was the first woman elected moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church in the United States. She was the first woman elected to that position of national leadership, and she was the first woman to do a lot of things in the Presbyterian Church. I met Sara Bernice Moseley in Hartford, Connecticut in 1982 when it was the summer between my sophomore and junior year as an Austin College student. I was a youth advisory delegate to the General Assembly of the old Northern Presbyterian Church, and she was there at the same conference as an ecumenical delegate, as a representative of the Southern Presbyterian Church, and word got to her that there was an Austin College student who was also there at the General Assembly in Hartford. And so she contacted me and said, I want to meet you, so come and let's have dinner. And the circumstances of that, it ended up being very unusual because there was a gentleman from the Soviet Union who was also at this meeting who at the last minute wanted to have a closed-door meeting with just the youth delegates. And so I was an hour late to my first meeting with Sara Bernice. And for all the years since I came to work here, and any time I told that story with her in the room, she would always get to the "you were late" part before I could ever. But that was when I met her in the summer of 1982. I think looking back, I learned a lot about her then because she was where she said she'd be, even though I was an hour late to that meeting. I think that tells you a lot about her.
Dr. Moseley was the one who really represented what Austin College would be as it evolved toward where we are today.
There are many elements that we still take for granted at the life of Austin College that he either directly designed or facilitated the design of those things.
Dr. Moseley had the vision to want this to be a school that could stand on its own with anyone and would educate the whole person and would be a prestigious place in Texas and the greater region, and hopefully beyond that.
He was very creative, he was very energetic, he was very sort of appropriately impatient. He had lots and lots of ideas all the time, was a leader and a kind of It was a revolutionary.
A good president. He was a good president for us at a time that Austin College was growing and becoming certainly a better college.
He was just the most wonderful, kind man. He was soft-spoken, but his stature was evident from within, his personal stature.
She was a gifted musician, went to college and studied piano and was a vocalist and had some thought early on in her life about having a career in music. But she was also very dedicated Presbyterian, grew up in the Presbyterian Church in Anson, Texas. That's the way she and John Dee met each other. They met as high school students, youth representatives at Presbyterian events around the state of Texas. Both of them stayed involved in the life of the Presbyterian Church for their whole marriage. She was the most gracious person I ever knew. I mean, she was always very nice, always very welcoming, always concerned to put everybody else at ease, and was able to do that in a way that didn't call attention to herself. And she didn't do that by withdrawing from conversations and situations. She could do that and be welcoming to everybody in the context at the same time that she was a full participant in whatever conversation or activity was going on. And her ability to combine those two things was better than anybody else I've ever known.
I remember my very early meetings with her when she made me feel that I was an important contribution to the new members of the faculty, and I have a feeling that I was not alone in that, but that simply was her way with all of us. And it was not something that was put on. I think this was very genuine. She was interested in people, she liked people, and she brought out the best in the people who were around her.
Her influence in the community of women here was powerful, and of course her own influence in the Presbyterian Church at large.
You just felt as though they were interested in you as well as the college itself, but interested in you as a student or a graduate alumnus, interested in you as a faculty member, community member, just overflowing with respect for the people that they were with. They earned respect, but they showed respect as well.
In general, she was a force of nature. She's one of my heroes, absolutely. She was capable of interacting at a high level with a great variety of people, which was always, that's part of why so many people liked her. And it was fun to be her friend, to watch her do that with students, with speakers and other folks who came to town, and she was just never ever overmatched in any conversation, in any situation.
A multifaceted person, more a co-president than the wife of a president, and I think we all pretty much generally felt that. She was a charmer. I had a long friendship with her. She was very, very active in the musical organization that supported this Sherman Symphony, and actually served as president of that board for a number of years. So I was working closely with her in that capacity, and always found her to be just a wonderful friend and colleague.
There's a verse in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, where God says, "For I am about to do a new thing," and that's a great summary of John D. Moseley. He was consistent, he was energetic, he had long-term commitment and relationship to the college, and always he was moving forward.